In this episode of the podcast, we talk about onboarding. How are you onboarding new clients? What the heck is onboarding? We talk about the importance of having channel partners so that you can work less and make more monies. We also talk about why you should consider surveying your best clients. And finally, overcoming the idea that just because you wouldn't pay for it doesn't mean that your clients wouldn't pay for it. Hey, with everything that you have to do, how can you grow your video business without burning out? Actually work with the right clients and do projects that you love? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Every episode, I sit down with a guest and we talk about the issues that you face and give you insights that will help you be more productive, get paid what you're worth, be more creative, and, oh, did I mention get more clients? I'm Ryan Coral, and you're listening to the Grow Your Video Business podcast. What is up, friend? I'm so pumped that you're here. I'm really looking forward for you to hear this episode, this interview with Griffin Stewart today. He's a super stellar dude. He's just got a great heart who is making a huge impact, and you'll hear more about that as we get into the episode. Before we get there, did you know that we have a thriving community, a totally free community, where you can get access to me and to other videographers and studio owners? This past week, I asked people inside of the group to share their wins of the week. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. And here's what some of the members shared. David Barker closed 3 different jobs this past week, totaling over $105,000. Amazing. Kevin Nolte hired a brand new employee, which he's super excited about. And Raphael Nash needed a colorist, and he found Sherpa student Guy from Skinny Kid Productions, who was on a recent episode. You may have already listened to Guy's episode. And he even got a Studio Sherpa's discount because he heard us talking about that on that episode. Lots of super exciting stuff happening there. So make sure to join the community. If you are not a part, you can go to studiosherpas.com/community and answer a couple of questions, and we will let you in, I promise. Let's hear a word from our awesome sponsor, Core Group, and then we'll jump into today's episode. If there was one thing that could have ended my business 17 years ago, it would be because of the numbers. I hate accounting, taxes, W-9s, W-2s, W-40s, spreadsheets, all of that stuff. And I hate it mostly because I'm afraid of it. I'm just not great with numbers. If this sounds familiar, or if you're so new in your business that it's not even on your radar yet, you need Core Group. Core Group can help you create financial systems and tax strategies that you need so you can grow profitably, and they've been doing this for over 20 years. They become an extension of your team so that you can stay in your lane of expertise and then lean on them to help guide you along the way. For me, having a team of experts in my corner to help keep track of our books and just to make sure that we're budgeting for taxes appropriately, to have an actual strategy for our taxes and our accounting is priceless. And it allows me to sleep easier at night, knowing that I don't have to be an expert in that arena. If you want to avoid surprises in your video business, and you want experienced help building a plan for the future that you want, both professionally and personally, head over to studiosherpas.com/core for more information. And when you're ready to set up a free consult with them, make sure to mention Studio Sherpas for a special discount too. Got your back. Get more out of your accountant. Go to studiosherpas.com/core. What's up, friends? Welcome to this episode of the podcast. Today, my guest is Mr. Griffin Stewart. Griffin is a husband, father, traveler, photographer, lifelong learner, entrepreneur, and online strategist. He is owner of 5-Day Deal and Creative Highway. He's visited 60-plus countries with his wife, and he is here to spend some time with us today. Griffin, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.
Did I get all that stuff right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Only 60-plus countries?
Only
no baby.
60. We got a couple more to go.
That is amazing. What's been your favorite one thus far?
Iceland and New Zealand are my favorite. They're the most naturally beautiful and are like what the world probably looked like before, all the rivers turned not clear and everything like that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes, New Zealand that's on our short list.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's super fun. Well, thanks for being here. You actually you call yourself an intrapreneur too? Did I see that in your bio?
No, I might have just mistyped.
Oh,
But I did read whatever that book is that talks about
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, and that's a really cool concept.
it says he's a serial entrepreneur and intrapreneur.
Whoops. Yeah, I probably just had it. I'm also bad at
Copying and pasting
spelling.
somebody else's bio. Wait, are you Griffin Stewart? Is it? I forgot to ask that. Okay, we'll just edit that out. So out of all of the things that you kind of have your hands on, because I know you have your hands in a lot of things, what would you say is the thing that for you brings the most joy and fulfillment in your work?
So our company 5-Day Deal, we put together educational bundles for photographers and videographers, and we run those 2 times a year. And 10% of gross sales we donate to charity. So to me, being able to put those together, I love photography myself, and also am a amateur videographer, but have a lot of respect for you guys that do it pro, because it takes me like 8 hours to edit 30 minutes of footage, and I'm always just like, this is insane. But anyways, yeah, like those 2 things are just so much fun, because it feels like almost like being Santa, because it's like we get a bunch of amazing products from amazing people all over the world. We get to put them together, sell them at an amazing discount, and donate to charity. And so the impact for the people that partner with us, we have partners that every sale makes 6 figures in 5 days. And then our customers save over 95%. And then typically in a year, we're able to donate over $200,000 to charity. So we call it a win-win-win. Everybody's, excited. It works out well for everybody. And for me, it's a lot of fun. It's stressful, but it's a lot of fun putting it together and seeing the end result, is where I get excited. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've been fortunate enough to have been a part of these bundles. And I remember seeing a total tally at some point of like how much money you guys have given away. Do you have a rough idea on how much you have been able to donate to charity?
Yeah, we've got a subdomain called impact.5daydeal.com with the number 5. And right now it's over $2.2 million. And we kind of try to really track that publicly. And you can see the charities we've donated to and how much and from what different sales. So,
dude, that's incredible.
Yeah, when we started the company in 2014, we thought, we're like, okay, we'll donate 10% to charity. Maybe after a year or 2 or 3, we'll donate 100,000, and that would be really cool. And we're blown away with the response to it. And in our first year, we were able to donate over 250,000, I believe, to charity. And we were like, okay, well, we don't need second jobs anymore. And also, this impact is way, way bigger than we would have ever thought possible. So.
I love that. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for doing that work. That is amazing.
Well, yeah, thanks for partnering with us to make it happen. We can't do anything we do without our partners that help make the sale possible and a success. So we appreciate it.
That's so super cool. So out of curiosity, like you've got 5-Day Deal, you've got Creative Highway, like what for like what are you doing for money? Is 5-Day Deal, that's your main gig today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5-Day Deal is our main thing. We open the cart for 10 days,
amazing.
And that's how we make our entire.
So Griffin
living.
only works 5 days out of 10 days out of the year and is making a living. That's
I wish.
You need to talk to Tim Ferriss and come up with like the 2-day work year, the 2-day work year. That should be your book.
Yeah, we work the rest of the year to make it happen, but yeah, and some people are like, man, I'd love to make my living in 5 days, and to me, it's like
right.
It's also super stressful during those 5 days,
Right.
Especially if it's trending down. It's like, no, you don't want to make your living in 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend
that
it.
seems a little stressful. It's like when people are like, "Oh, your pastor, he works like 1 day a week. That's like amazing." It's like, yeah, that's all. It's all it takes.
Right, yeah.
What would you say, like thinking from like business mindset? I own a video company.
Mm-hmm.
What would be a big lesson that you've learned through the process of like trying to? I mean, there are so many different parts to what you're doing at 5-Day Deal. Building a community of people that like want to participate with you to offer something to get people to buy, right? There's that. Then there's the getting, building communities of videographers that would say like, oh yeah, that 5-day deal sounds amazing. I should totally buy that. Partnering with nonprofits, just the marketing of all of that stuff to different audiences just sounds pretty complex, but I don't think it's like too far from as a solopreneur or a video business owner. Those are some of the same things that we need to do, and a lot of feeling and pressure of like, oh, I need to be on Instagram and I need to be on LinkedIn and I need to be doing some Facebook ads, and I need to make sure I've got an email marketing campaign. I've got these automations set up. Like there's just lots of things that can be super overwhelming, pretty stressful, can instill a lot of like fear, anxiety, and like paralysis analysis. With the things that you've done, like what are some takeaways that would be helpful for somebody that feels very overwhelmed with all of the things?
Sure. I'd say probably first, and a thing I see a lot of small business owners or startups like forget about is marketing is so important. It's like you may be the best videographer, you may be able to edit better than any Hollywood, trailer cutter or whatever, but if nobody knows about you and nobody's heard about you and you don't have reviews to prove that, then you're not going to get business. So like one of the things with 5-day deal and like I mentioned, the reach and the impact that it's had basically has been totally outside of our control. So what we do is we find partners that have great products and a large social reach or just a large social reach, and they help us make the sale a success. So for a small business videographer, if there's a way that you can incentivize your customers that you do have to recommend you to their friends or to order more products from you. And one of the things we've learned with 5-day deal over the years, our customers have gone down. The number of customers we have every year. We started out, the most we had was 22,000 in one sale. And now we average around 15,000 per sale. And one of the things that we've done is we've surveyed our customers. We've asked them, what do you like about the bundle? What do you not like about the bundle? What's your frustrations? And one of the big frustrations was, hey, you've got a bunch of beginner content, maybe some intermediate content, and that's great, but I'm a pro. So I bought your bundle the first 2-3 years and it's trained me and I've learned a lot. And now I don't need beginner and intermediate. I need pro products. And so one of the things we did with our business was we added a optional upsell that's called a pro bundle. And we try to put in the more advanced techniques and the more advanced tutorials in that product. And so that way we have our core base of customers that might be beginner and intermediate. And then we have those that want more and they can add that thing on. And, everybody says like customer acquisition is so expensive, not only money wise, but time wise. Like if you think how much it took you to get a certain client, how many hours you spent with them, learning their business, trying to figure it out, see what their needs are. Then what if you have different tiers of editing or different things you can do with the footage? It's like, okay, here's our base product that's for, really budget type clients. And then here's some things you can add. You can add, a 30-second teaser video that they can share on social. You can add, more advanced motion graphics and lower thirds and that kind of thing. And, just kind of have different tiers for different customers. And for me, one of the things I've realized in my business and also doing consulting work with other businesses is that just because you wouldn't pay for it doesn't mean your clients wouldn't gladly pay for it. So there's things that really like good. Personally, I'm kind of a cheapskate and it's like, all right, what's the least we can do to get this thing done? But there's other people and there's instances in our business too, where it's like, hey, I don't care what the cost is. This is something we need to get done. I need it done the best way possible. What is that going to cost versus what's the cheapest rate I can find for it?
Dude, that's like mic drop status right there. That is so true. Where we just, we've been doing video for however long, and the assumption is that people just know. I did a workshop a few weeks ago for a bunch of online course creators, and I was teaching them about, how to make their video look better. And I got to a point in the workshop where I'm like, okay, so you guys know the rule of thirds, so just make sure that, this is how you're lined up. You guys obviously know. After the workshop, my buddy Graham, who hosted it for me on my whatever, I did it for his audience. He gave me some feedback, which was it was gold for me. He's like, hey, just so you know, like, these people don't know what the rule of thirds are. So like, that is a great and I'm like, oh yeah. I'm just so in the world that most of the people that I talk to are video people. So I just assume, well, of course, you know what the rule of thirds are. If you're filming yourself, you get it. Like, you know where you're supposed to stand. And I'm like, oh, that's like so elementary. And for some of the people that were a part of the workshop, they're like, that was so helpful. I'm like, seriously, it's like a basic thing. But to your point, like, that's why, we are the quote unquote experts. Like, we know what we've done, all of our training. We spend countless hours playing on our cameras and shooting and editing and all the things so that we can figure it out, so it becomes way more efficient for us to be able to do for our clients, so that we can charge people money to do it. So in this world, when people have dollars and they need a video and they want it done, and they want it done well, they lean on you to provide that for them. Yeah.
And a lot of things, it's like, I don't want to know how you do it or why you do it or why that guy's in the left corner instead of in the middle. I just want it to look good, and if it looks good, I'm happy. So
totally. And I remember a few years ago, I never had charged for consulting. It was just like, you can hire us, we can make a video for you. We're going to have some great ideas that we're going to share with you. Hopefully you take some of them. And here we are, like, some years later, after I started doing this like consultative workshop for our clients that had a rough idea for a video. They knew they needed one. Now we do a 2-hour workshop. We create a blueprint for them. We productize this whole thing, and we charge $2,500, not for a video, but for a PDF that we create for them based on this video. I would have never thought. I'm like, of course, like, these are the 5 bullets that we're going to do. We're going to have 2 shooters. This is kind of the main theme, and, maybe the music is going to be like this, and it's going to be a 2-minute edit. Like, that's what I used to do. Now it's like, hey, we can dive into this a little bit more, get the client aligned and more excited, and get them really on board before we ever hit record. And guess what? They will pay me a lot of money for my time just in that. Yeah.
And they'll love it better too.
Yeah. I'm a huge proponent for that workshop that we do, because like, it gets our team aligned. So our team actually knows when they see the blueprint, they're like, oh, okay, so we've got a really good handle on what we're going to be filming here. The client, before we do any production, they're all saying like, yeah, this is the look and the feel. This is right. So there's no confusion there. So when it comes to revision process, there's no surprises. Nobody's like, why did you guys use that shot? Or what is that? Everybody knows that this is based and born out of the blueprint that we were all a part of. Yeah. So it has worked pretty well for us. So to rewind, you had mentioned surveying your audience. I don't want that to go unnoticed. I think that's an awesome technique. That's an awesome tool that we have in our tool belts to be able to reach out to our people, our past clients, even if you only have 4 past clients, but to ask them like, hey, what's your big frustration now? You've got your video. We did the video. Like, what else do you need? I'm not trying to upsell or anything. I just want to know, like, in the industry that you're in, like, how do you want to be using video? Do you need TikToks? Like, just so that you can know, so you can come alongside your people. And if that's a common problem or frustration that people are having, you can serve them much better.
Totally. Yeah. And another tip or something that I've seen recently, I've got a friend that's a roofer, and he did kind of similar to what we do with 5-Day Deal, is instead of going door to door and knocking on individual homes and saying, hey, can I check out your roof, see if you need a new one? He went to all the real estate. What's that?
This just happened to us like 2 weeks ago. I was sitting at the kitchen table because my wife got suckered into a roofer. Anyway, it was fine. He was a nice guy.
Yeah. We get a bunch of hail here, so basically nobody in Colorado Springs ever pays for a roof, but it's good business for him. But yeah, so he went to all the realtor and property management and those kind of big companies, and he buys them lunch and lets them know like what he can do and how he can serve them. And so, like as a videographer, it's like maybe you can go to, website designers or even, leasing business space places and try to find something where it's like, okay, I can talk to 10 people and get 50 clients instead of talking to 50 people and getting 10 clients. So that's another thing we've learned from 5-Day Deal is like, if you can find kind of the top people that have that connection and that reach, and honestly, like you're helping them with their customers or with their business anyways. So they're excited to make a referral or say, oh yeah, I know a great, video guy that can take care of that for you. So.
Dude, that's awesome. We call that channel partners. So for us, like when we were doing weddings, for us to connect with other photographers and wedding coordinators and hotels, like venues that would host, when we became friends with those people, we needed a small network of like, 10 to 15 businesses, photographers, venues, whatever. And we didn't have to do any marketing if we didn't want to. Those people would refer us like gangbusters. So that was an amazing channel partner. Look, what you're saying, we've done a lot of work at the University of Michigan. At the University of Michigan, there's like 27 colleges, right? There's the Ross School of Business. There's the engineering school. There's the nursing school. All these schools, if you get in with one, some of those people like cross-pollinate and they know other people, other departments. And then even in the colleges, there's other departments that need video that are separate from. So like, that's like an amazing channel partner. And then agencies, so whether, we don't really work with ad agencies. We have, that's not really like our, forte or whatever, but like PR firms, marketing agencies, those are the people that have a book of business. They've got 5 clients, 10 clients at a given time. Maybe their, client list is like 20 or 30 clients. And if you serve them super well, instead of them trying to find, okay, we need a good database of videographers that we can call on to get a quote when our client says they need a video. If you're already serving them, like if you can be on that short list, I mean, you get multiple clients from making one good relationship.
Yeah, totally.
I think we could just end right now. We're not going to. That was gold. What else you got lined up? You got any more of those little nuggets? That was really good.
I guess the third thing I'd share about our business that's unique to us in the industry is just the amount we donate. So we have a digital product, and basically it scales, exponentially. We can have 15,000 customers or 55,000 customers, and on our end, it's the same amount of work. We have a little more server load and that kind of thing. But because of that, we decided early, like when we founded the business, hey, we want this to not just be a profitable business for us and our partners, but also to give back and make an impact. And so, I know that with doing in-person videoing and manual editing, 10% is probably not a reasonable thing to do with your business. But for us and our business, like I can't tell you the number of customers and partners that have said like, hey, I didn't think I was going to buy the bundle. I was on the fence. I came over. I saw that, you're donating 500,000 meals. And I said, you know what, this is good enough. And the impact that I'm going to have is what's really getting me excited. And then the other thing too, with marketing, is we do a lot of like cold emailing. And so we're cold emailing some of the top photography and video educators in the world. And they get, 50, 100, 150 cold emails a day of people asking them to join things and do things and take up their time. And so multiple partners have told us, hey, I get 20 of these a day, but the fact that you donate to charity and the amount that you've donated to charity is what caught my eye. Let me know a little more. Let me see if, this makes sense and I can help out. So to me, like the charity aspect, I don't think anybody should do it as a marketing tactic because that's not genuine, and people will, people know if you're genuine in what you're doing or not. So don't do it as a marketing aspect, but if giving back and helping others is something that either you like doing or you think you would like doing, then I would highly recommend, doing some kind of percentage-based giving out of your business. And the thing is, like, you're gonna be happier with the work you're doing and why you're doing it. It's not just to put food on the table, which is important. It's not just to pay off your mortgage, which is important, but it is to help people that might not have food on their table and might not have a mortgage. And so that's, something that's been really amazing for us. And like, stepping back from the business and marketing side, I think we would not be nearly as successful. And I don't have any stats or figures because we've never not donated to charity, but I would roughly guess that, we donate 10% to charity. It probably has brought in at least 30% or more of our revenue over the years, just from that fact. So something to consider.
Yeah. I think there's probably some science or something in that. It's like the like approaching the world with this like open-handed mentality just comes back to service in ways that it's hard to measure, but at the same time it's more fulfilling. Mm-hmm. And like you're saying, it's like, yeah, I think we wouldn't be nearly as successful if we didn't have that as kind of like our, one of our leading things that the brand is built on. I love that. So cool. Yeah. Where did that desire come from? And it's okay if you're like, well, we thought it'd be a good marketing tactic, but then it changed into like, we know this is what our heartbeat is, or like, what was it that made you guys decide that, yeah, this is who we are. This is what we want to do.
Yeah, good question. Well, so I'm a Christian, and one of our values that we believe in is to donate or tithe at least 10% of our income to the church and to other charities. And as we were starting the business, I'd been in digital businesses before, and it's like, the scale is, you can pretty much scale unlimited, and the profits are usually really good. And so the two things that we wanted to do in our business is pay our partners as generously as we could while still being sustainable, and then also give back. And we wanted to make sure, we looked at like, okay, well, maybe we donate 10% of what we make to charity. But what really got us excited was like, we make a small percentage of what the sale generates. And so if we could donate 10% of what the sale generates, that would be, multiples more than what we could donate. And the impact would be much bigger. And so that's kind of how we came up with the 10%, and we did it from gross. And basically, like, there's been other competitors that don't donate money, and they pay their partners either the same amount that we pay ours or less. And so we kind of look at it as that's coming out of what would be our profits. But we're glad to do it, and we make enough money where it makes sense in our business for that percentage. So.
Yeah, I think those businesses are called 5-day don't.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's pretty powerful stuff. As you were talking, I was like, man, like there's actually we were really close to Flint, which I'm sure you've heard of. And there's another city called Pontiac, and both are really low income, really just, there are a lot of struggles in both communities. Mm-hmm. And we've wanted to do some like partnerships with these different cities. But up until this moment, now I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I know what we can do.
Awesome.
Because we do video, we've got old gear that's sitting around that we're thinking about repurposing, selling, whatever. But I would love to, and even this morning in our team meeting, we're talking about we don't like to do traditional like Christmas gifts because everybody does that. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like we would like to stand out when we're going to gift somebody something. So I just told Tyler, I was like, man, we got to get on the train. It's like we meant to do this like in the spring, but we just forgot. And so like last year we made a donation on behalf of our clients to an organization, and I'm like, you know what if we told our clients and our partners that we're like, hey, this year we're actually going to either buy and or donate some of our video gear to a school where they like want to do a video program or something like that, and like give kids opportunity to like work with real gear and make stuff. I'm like, this is it. I think this has got some wheels.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's I love the creativity of that because you don't just have to donate dollars or whatever. You can donate your time or your old equipment or whatever. And for you guys, I know you have some business courses on video, but I'd be glad to connect you with some people that have courses on how to take videos, and maybe we could partner together and you guys could donate the gear, and then some of our partners could donate tutorials, and now they have the tools, and now they're going to learn how to use them for no cost to the school. So that's awesome.
I love that. Yeah. Look at that, folks. I mean, you think this is just a podcast, but well, I guess it is just a podcast. Griffin, I know one of the things that you're passionate about is onboarding systems. And for me, I'm kind of in the middle. I've got my hands on a couple of different businesses. We've got our own onboarding. We've got a free lead magnet for our clients that are interested in video production, getting ready to hire somebody. And then we've got a handful of emails that go out that really just kind of talk about different videos that they might want to consider as a business. I'm curious to know, like, what things do you like to talk about when it comes to onboarding?
Sure. So before I did 5-Day Deal, I ran a graphic design, one-man graphic design and web design shop. And one of the key turning points in that business was when I went from, somebody reaching out on my contact form and me saying, hey, what kind of website do you like? What do you not like? What are you looking for? Blah, 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 to turning that into essentially an onboarding system. And the other nice thing that really helped with that is I would send them a link to this form. They would fill it out. And one of the questions on the form very intentionally was, what's your budget? And so, I had under 500 at the time. This was, 10 years ago. And I was probably pretty cheap at the time. And and then I would say, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, more than 2,000. And what that would do is not only would it ask them all the questions that I would generally ask via email, but take up none of my time, but it would also help them and me kind of know like what they're wanting to, things to look like. It helped. I had one client email me after he filled out the form, and he was like, hey, thanks so much for sending me this form. It asked so many questions that we didn't know we needed to ask ourselves. And now we feel even more, prepared and educated and ready to do this project than when I had emailed you. But the other thing also is that people that had a budget of under $500, which was not my market, they didn't take any of my time. Once they filled out the form, I would send them, links to, I think I had a few designers that would do projects for that, or over to some template sites that would do projects for that, and that kind of thing. So yeah, to me, onboarding was really important in that business. It's also in our business, we try to recruit partners for our sale, and we recruit over like 100 different partners. So if we didn't have some kind of form and onboarding system for that, then we'd probably have to have 3 full-time people, emailing back and forth and forgetting things, and partners would get frustrated and probably just stop emailing us and mark us as spam or whatever. So onboarding to me is a two-part benefit. It's a benefit to you as a business owner, because you're going to get consistent information and the information you need. And the other thing too is, like, after 2 or 3 forms, you're like, oh man, I always forget to ask the clients this question, and I just need to add that to my form. And then you're set from then on. And then also on the client side, they get a consistent number of questions, and they sort of pre-filter themselves and set themselves up for the end result product that they're going to be happy with. Versus, I might have asked 5 of the 10 questions I'm supposed to ask to this new client. So,
yeah, dude, I love that. That's so good. Again, that's one of those things that I feel like I've just taken that for granted. Like, yeah, of course you have a forum and you ask those questions, but not everybody has done that. Not everybody knows that. That is really, really valuable. Again, this morning, Tyler and I are chatting, and we've got our form that new clients will fill out. And to your exact point, like, this thing gives people the opportunity to think about things that they hadn't thought about,
Mm-hmm.
things that they've booked a discovery call with me, so I'm going to have a 20-minute phone call with them. But I want them, before they even get on the phone with me, to see like, oh, wow, like I haven't even thought about that. And then hopefully when they get on the phone with me, I'm able to ask one or two more questions that they're like, oh, wow, like we didn't even think about that. So it sets you apart. And to your point, like those things that you're always asking, like, does it have to be something that you're asking, on the phone, or would it be more helpful to get that information before a phone call? Like, what's your budget? Like, is it in this range, or do you have no idea? Like we've added no idea. And I know like somebody that has no idea what their budget is, they're probably not our ideal client. We've found out that the majority of those people aren't ready to hire a video. They're really just putting their feelers out there, and they're going to need a lot more hand-holding and a lot more education. And so, I have a gatekeeper that's like, oh, if that's the response, or it's under, what our normal starting price would be, then we're going to get them resources. We're going to kind of say like, well, hey, when you are a little bit more serious, like, and you do have a budget, or it's, at this range, I would love to have a call and see how we could help you. That you're able to save so much time. Your work becomes more efficient, and you get more helpful information when it is time to hop on a call with somebody and really dig in to see how you might be able to serve them.
Yeah, totally. Awesome.
Well, dude, what are you doing right now that you're really excited about? Like, what's getting you fired up about? We're like almost just a couple of days from the final quarter of 2021. How do you want to close the year out?
I mean, right now we're in the throes of working for our photography bundle that launches October 14th at noon for 5 days, and so that's our main focus currently. And related to earlier, I had mentioned about having clients and giving them more things that help them and also help your business is easier than finding new clients. One of the other things I'd love to share that we've done with our business as we've gone down in clients but stayed similar in revenue is we do bump offers and upsells in the cart and the checkout. And so we have a sales page that kind of lists everything they can purchase. But what we found is, just like me, people don't want to read a really long sales page. So they'll read as much as they need to about our main bundle offering, and then they'll check out. And so what we do is after they check out, we say, hey, there's 2 more bundles we want you to know about, just in case you're interested in the pro bundle, or just in case you're interested in the materials in this other bundle. And that has gone from, we didn't do it before, so it was 0% of revenue. And now that's over 33% of our revenue for us and partners, and 33% of the charity impact. And so, yeah, that's been like kind of a key thing for us in having less clients, but making similar revenue and money. And that's like, I don't know, like, of course we have a giant scale, but it's like, you've seen, if you go buy an Apple computer or something, it's like, okay, here's the model.
Oh yeah.
It's $12.99. All right. That's not bad. Oh, but I need a graphics card. So that's going to be $700, and I need more RAM. So that's going to be $800, and I need a bigger hard drive. So that's going to be another $1,000. So by the time you check out, or like the Mac Pro that you guys pros use, it's like whatever. I think it starts out at $5,000, which is crazy by itself. And then I think it's like $30,000 if you,
we got a couple of those.
But yeah, like we found it's really helpful as long as you're offering stuff that is relevant and helpful to your customer.
Right.
And try to do it in as few steps as possible, because nobody wants to see 5 different things, and that's a turnoff for customers. But it's like, hey, and if you can do it, what we found works really well is we have one checkbox in our checkout where they can click that and say yes. Like for you said you have a $2,500 consultation package. It's like, okay, checkbox, yes, I want this $2,500 consultation package. Or maybe it's a little bit smaller offer depending on what the main price point is. But and then after checkout, we give them up to 2 more options. And the nice thing about after checkout is you've already gotten their initial payment.
Right.
And so you're not going to miss out on the client, or they're not going to be turned off by your initial checkout. And then the other thing is you can really educate them. Like our bundles, our upsell bundles have maybe 20 products or 15 products. So it's really hard on a checkout page to say, here's the 15 products you get, here's the value, here's why this might help you. But on a post-purchase upsell page, you can really educate them. And that's our goal basically, is that they can make an informed decision on whether or not this is going to help them or not. And if it doesn't, that's fine. We're totally happy with that. And to share business stats, because like to me, it's all about, looking at your analytics and figuring out what your customers are telling you with their actions and their wallets. And we get a 75% conversion rate on our post-purchase upsells.
Wow.
And when we first launched, we were like, oh, this would be cool. Maybe 10%, maybe 20%. Amazing if 30% of customers say, yes, I want this thing. And
how about almost all of them?
Yeah, and we were just blown away. And, that's nothing I would have predicted or thought could have happened like that. So
I love that. And from a practical standpoint, for a videographer, we switched software. We switched our proposal acceptance software so that we could create add-ons for people.
Yep.
So things that we might have talked about on the discovery call, but when it came down to building out a statement of work for them, it didn't make sense to include it in that. But if they really wanted drone coverage, or if they really wanted an extra day of coverage, or they wanted the workshop, any of that stuff, we can add. Like you're saying, you can add that into the proposal. So it's just a click of a button, and people are like, they've already got their credit card out. They're already kind of like, okay, we're doing this. And yeah, maybe we should. I love the idea of not overwhelming people with too many choices. So after they hit submit and they've accepted, they've put their credit card in, made that first payment or whatever, to go say, hey, and by the way, you can also get, this thing here or these 3 things here. Like, do you want any of these? Might as well get them right now while you got your credit card out. It's like going to make your life way easier. People are just more likely to spend, especially, and this is, you mentioned this, which I'm so glad that you did. If it is in line with, if it's parallel to, what it is that they need. If they're getting a brand video from you, and then you offer like and hey, add on a wedding film, that doesn't make any sense. But if it's like, hey, add on a social media package, or add on, we'll house your media for the next year, for $100 or something like that. Those things, it's smart to think through those, because $100 here, $500 there. If you have 10 or 20 clients for the year, that's like thousands of dollars that you could be making. And if you have a 75% conversion rate on those upsells, like, holy cow, that is amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. What do y'all use for your software? Just out of curiosity.
We switched over. It doesn't matter what we were using before. We are using Dubsado currently.
Okay, cool. So that allows you to do that really easily.
Yep. It's pretty easily, and I know that there's just so many softwares out there, and we've tried so many of them, and we just switched back over probably 3 or 4 months ago, because we had used Upside a long time ago, but it was a little bit clunky, and I saw something else that looked sexier and easier, and I was like, let's use that, and then I realized like, oh, it doesn't have that functionality, so we're literally losing out on thousands of dollars. So the software is not perfect, but it is allowing us to create those add-on options, which we just didn't have before.
Awesome. Yeah. For our business, we use Samcart, and that's one of the things we've A/B tested a few things, like one where they click add to cart and then we present different options, or presenting different options at the top of the page, or checking out and then having to do kind of additional clunky checkouts afterwards. And all of those convert less than 20%. So it's like, it's a huge difference when they're in the purchasing. They can say yes or no to things that are going to help them and help you. And that's a key thing. So like you said, we've tried other softwares that have 9 out of 10 of the things we need, and one might have 8 of the 10 of the things we need. But if upsells is one of those 8, then we're going to go with that. So
totally. I love that. Samcart's great. It's so pretty. They've done just such a good job.
Yeah.
Well, Griffin, how can people follow along with what you've got going on?
Just go to 5daydeal.com. That's our main business website. It's got my about info on there as well, with my social feeds, and that's about it.
Awesome. Dude, thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing, the way that you're giving back. I feel like you're leading by example, so thank you for doing that. You are an inspiration. Keep up the good work. Thanks so much for your time today. And how would you like to leave us this day?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate it, and hope it's helpful. I'd just say, if anybody has questions or wants to reach out, I love helping small business owners and marketing and strategizing with them. And like Ryan said, we've tried out, probably hundreds of softwares at this time. And I've got some favorites for different reasons, and always glad to help people, not spend as much time on that. And Ryan's a great resource as well. Like sounds like you guys have gone through similar stuff in your business. And so what works and what doesn't for that. I just say thanks so much. And I hope that your business is providing for you and your family. And I'd say, consider, if you haven't already, ways that you can give back. As long as your business is sustaining you, don't donate money that you don't have to give.
That's great. Awesome, Griffin. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this episode. Do not forget to check the show notes for any links or references from this episode. And I would love to hear from you. If you're watching this video on YouTube or on Facebook, leave a comment and let me know what your big takeaway is, what you're excited about, what you're going to do differently because of maybe something that you heard or thought of while listening to this episode. Once you write it down, it is more likely to happen. I think there's like scientific proof of that. Remember to join the totally free community. Go to studiosherpas.com/community. You can follow us on Instagram at Grow Your Video Business. And I'm also at Ryan Coral. And finally, you can email me if you need anything, Ryan@studiosherpas.com. I'd be happy to hear from you. That is it, my friend. Upward and onward. Have an amazing, amazing week. Hopefully, I'll see you inside of the Facebook group or in person at our next in-person event coming soon to a city near you. Probably not, unless you're like in Metro Detroit. Although we are gonna do like a mini tour or retreat thing or something like that elsewhere. So stay tuned. That's all I got. I'll talk to you real soon. Goodbye for now.